Brodie Smith and Sam Berry, are they fit for this week?
Sam Berry unfortunately won't get up, so he won't train today. Brodie will attempt to train today, and we'll see how he goes. So I'd say Brodie's 50-50.
Is there any point playing a player with a back injury? It's pretty debilitating.
Yeah, that is the concern. When we say back injury, there's back tightness. Probably looking back on it, it did hinder him slightly on the weekend as well. So we'll make that decision together, but today will be an indicator of that. We'll see how he goes if he trains and how he goes during the session.
Is travel a factor in that as well?
Yeah, there's also a travel factor to it. Yeah, it's a short flight, but yeah, we'll make a call on that. That's best for the team and also best for Brodie.
Who would be the mix if Brodie doesn't get up?
Well, there's a number of guys that are playing well. Billy Dowling's playing some good footy at SANFL level. Dan Curtin's, nearly ready to go. We're enjoying what he's doing. He's been challenged. Last week he played on probably one of the best forwards in the game, just as another step in his development. So he continues to sort of put his hand up. There's a number of others through. Himmelberg. It depends. It may not be a like for like. We've got Nankervis on a wing. We've got Jones on a wing that have both played back. Something that we're always working on is guys having multiple roles that they can move into. So if Smith's not there, it may be something we do from within the group, moving players. But we'll keep an eye on that during training.
Jordan Butts?
Butsy, we're going to see how he goes. But he's going to train today. Again, that's one that we won't know until probably a couple of days, because we'll have to see how he pulls up. But he's feeling really good at the moment and he's confident. So fingers crossed he goes well.
What about Murph?
And Murph's possibly available as well. Now Murph's been out now for 3 or 4 weeks, so that's one where we'd have to keep an eye on the decision we make there and make sure we do the right thing by both Murph and the team. That's right on the borderline of how much footy can you miss and come straight back in at AFL level. Again, the decision's not made yet.
What did you learn from your starts? You said you'd look into that as to why you're so reactive and slow and off at the start. And we've sat down and had reasonable discussion around it. Sometimes when you're under pressure and the performances aren't where you need to be and your results aren't going the way you want, you can stray a little bit from your values of what is a given. We've dropped off in an area that we prided ourselves on for years, and we were probably the noise and the commentary around us was that we were hard to play against. We were a competitive, scrappy team, and we took a lot of pride in that over those years and knew that we had to be better in a lot of other areas, and we had to have more polish on our game, and we had to execute when the time was there. And maybe in focusing and looking to get those other areas up to a level, we've just lost a little bit of sight on what is really important to us, and that's that contest. And there's no doubt on the weekend Essendon came and they bought an edge, as they call it, which we'd seen in the weeks prior. We knew it was coming and we didn't match it. So that was really disappointing for us. And sitting down as a group and being able to talk through that, it's a bigger picture for us. It's actually going back to what is it we value as a group. And we do. We pride ourselves on contest, and we haven't been bringing it of late. I'm not saying it hasn't been there across the whole year, but the last few weeks hasn't been at the level that we expect internally anyway. Is that a mental thing, Dan? Because you think in theory you come off your first win of the season and it's very much still alive. Why would you not come out fired up?
Yeah, and that's a challenge we've put to ourselves. Each and every one of us is what is it that? Why do we drop off in an area that we pride ourselves on? It can be that maybe some other areas are going well and we lose focus on that. There's no doubt, it's a mental issue. It's one that we've got to get right. And that comes back to values. When you do set yourself and you visualise in a game, what's the first thing you're going to do as an individual, and then how does that flow on and how does that drive the team, and it becomes contagious. So teams that are in good form and are trusting that, they do it by habit. At the moment, our habits aren't quite there, and it's taken us away from what we know we need to be good at.
The public expectations that you set at the start of the season, has that made a bit of a rod for the players back?
Oh, you always question, does embracing expectation, does it take your eye off of exactly what we just talked through, which is, what is the DNA of this group? What is it we want to be known for? That's a challenge that you've got to deal with. We could be at this point now and say we haven't embraced an expectation. Basically, it comes back to process. We talk about what do you need to do week in, week out to perform at a level that gives you an opportunity to get an outcome. We've been trying to find that. We felt like we had found that v Melbourne, as we mentioned. We took that into Carlton. We were confident, we're in a good space. We performed against Carlton, a really strong side sitting up the top of the ladder. And for whatever reason, we dropped away, a week later. The disappointment from all of us was there. We believe it's just around that mindset. We've got to get that right this week.
Do you feel like the team's focused a bit more on outcome rather than process, just in general?
It's by no means an intention. But sometimes, as you find, when maybe you haven't had that experience under your belt of playing at the level, and we have a young group still. We've got a lot of senior players still in amongst it. That we expect to step up in moments, but it does become tough for a younger group to get that balance right. And we haven't quite done that this year.
Would we expected too much from some of those younger players and put weight on their shoulders a little bit too early, whether that's a Rochelle or a Rankin or some of these other guys?
No, I think you'd find even talking to those guys as individuals, they know that they need to be focused in the right areas. The expectation is irrelevant if we're getting the process right. So when we do knuckle down, and we've shown that across this year, we've had a few games where we really have put it to sides, especially those up the top of the ladder, where our focus has been right, the contest has been there, and we've had our opportunities. We got it done once this year against a team like Carlton, and it was one kick. The difference can be slight. We didn't get it right on the weekend. Our focus, unfortunately, was in the wrong areas.
When you're going through these reviews, I understand there's been maybe different ways you've lost, but it's kind of the same message that you're not getting things right. How do you keep things positive and pull different levers so that you're not saying the same things over and over and the message is kind of getting drowned out?
Yeah, we're also mindful of not coming up with new things as well, and really we strip it back to basics. What is it that's even got us to a point where there is an external expectation, and it's internal as well. We expect our level of play to be at a higher standard than it is right now. It's not something that we're going to ignore, but it's then stripping it back to basic process. What is it that we need to do to get ourselves at least to that level? Sometimes that can show itself in different ways where your skills are off, but it always comes back to contest. The game we play in is a contested game. And if you're not competing, you don't have the ball, you're not able to do what you need to do. And we found that on the weekend, we were just pinned in our back half. There were periods during the game, I think it was 80% back of centre. The game, it's a different game from there. You're forced to play a different way, probably took us time to adjust to that. In the end, we stayed in a game. We were lucky to still be in the game. Our opposition didn't punish us when they had opportunities, but so there were some positives to take out of the game that we stuck in there, but it's not a brand of footy that we want to play.
Are you reluctant to blood new players this year?
No, not at all. And we want to make sure we do that at the right time for the individual and for the team. So if a player at a lower level's ready to go, they'll come into our side if they're able to play and live the values that we need to live. The last thing we want to do is bring a player in that's not ready for that. At this point in time, even our guys that are in the team are working on making sure the focus is right going into games, prioritising what needs to be prioritised. And that's, when our supporters watch us play, they expect to see a contest. They expect to see us go hard. They didn't see that on the weekend. So rightfully so, they should be disappointed.
A lot of supporters are clamouring to see the likes of Dowling finally get a game, but he's in form and it's not yet happening, that elevation.
Yeah, look, Billy's knocking on the door, and is a chance to play has been spoken about, for a few weeks now. Billy's the first to say he's still working on his game, and he wants to get and make sure he's ready to go as well. And saying that if I said to Billy right now, you're in, he would jump at the chance. but he's still working on areas of his game, as are others that at the SANFL level. So those people that are chomping at the bit to get Billy into our team, well, let's make sure we are watching SANFL as well, and maybe not just disappointed with what we're seeing at AFL.
Was one of the silver linings a bit of a return to form for Dawson on Friday night? It was very good.
Yeah, Dawson was one that, when you talk about values, I'd say lived them, and it came through in his game. And some might look at what he was able to do with the ball in hand, but he competed. He put the teeth together, showed grit. A lot of it was off his contest and physicality and just want to, work for the team within his role. So that was a really positive thing to have him this week be able to step up and stand in front of the group and talk about, what is the number 1 and 2 priorities? What is the thing we want to pride ourselves on? He was able to do that this week off the back of a game where we were able to show edits of him, and vision of him actually doing it and living it.
What about your defence as well? You're obviously under siege for a lot of the game. You've lost Murray, Duda, but guys like Laurel and Keane seem like they're in really good form for you as well. You must be pretty pleased with how they've been standing up in general. Well,
that's one of our areas that is keeping us in games at the moment, is our back six, believe it or not, for such a young group. And when I say young, the inexperience of actual AFL footy. I mean, Keeney's an Irish lad who's come across and he's still learning the game, but he's showing that he's a competitor. And you mentioned Josh Worrell, he's a competitor. Ball Ace came in and didn't do a lot wrong on the night, just fought for us all night, but we put him under far too much pressure. 62 inside 50s, it's pretty hard to win a game of footy with that sort of volume going into your back half. But it's an area that at times we can look vulnerable in because there is a lack of experience back there, but it's never through a lack of effort. And so our back 6 or 7 should walk off proud every week, which we make sure they continue to fight. We're probably looking for it in a few other areas at the moment. More from a consistency point of view.
Last couple of guys.
What have you made of Josh Rochelli's reaction since Friday night?
I think he's gone about it exactly the right way. He's acknowledged it, and he knows he needs to be better in that. We've all had a moment. I sat down with Josh. I said, mate, we've all had. Actually, I had about 15. Every player's had one of those moments in their career. Jonathan Brown has had a moment in his career, the most courageous one of them in the game. So it happens. Acknowledge it. Know you need to be better. I think he's done exactly that. It tarnished what was actually quite a solid game for Josh. He'll be better for it.
North Melbourne's been under the pump as well. How do you read them as a team?
Young, new coach coming in, implementing new strategies for them. They will compete. As we mentioned last week, coming into Essendon. Boys, it's going to be a contest. It's going to be exactly the same. They took it to Fremantle. We know they're going to come out breathing fire, as we are. They're under pressure from a results point of view, but they're playing good footy in patches, so we're going to have to be on our game. And coming off of the game we went through, I'm confident our guys will come out, seeking that contest.
With Matt back, are you tempted at all to do something a bit different with Rory's role?
We're changing a fair bit through that midfield as it is. We've got a number of guys who rotate through. A lot of people think midfield is centre bounce. It's not only centre bounce, but we do a lot through that space. We've talked about changing a little bit of the dynamic in there. Occasionally it can be just around who is your first possession player, who's that more dynamic player for second receiver. There's a lot of things that we're looking at in that space and tweaking. I'd like to even see Laddie just get back to that sort of hunt that we know he can bring. And maybe with some of these small changes we've made, we've taken that away from him. So I think you'll find that Rory played quite a strong game this week. I think he's keen to get out and really hunt that footy.
Just the tribunal case last night, Toby Green, I'm going to ask you to comment on the actual case, but in terms of how you educate your players now, Toby Green's leading up with the ball, a player goes back and flight, and Green's the one who gets suspended. How do you coach your players to go about in that instance? Because if they don't go for it, they're criticised for not being hard enough with the footy, and in this instance he finds himself up out.
I won't talk at all about that particular event, but I know what you're asking. Player welfare is number one priority on everyone's lips. Right at this point, though, the fine line between competing and what we've just spoken about for the last 5 minutes, we want our players to compete, right? To go hard for the footy. We watch these back in slow motion, frame by frame. The game is not that. It's super hard to play at this point in time. I don't think there's players out there that are intentionally trying to hurt opposition players, but the split-second decisions are tough to make. Right now, we're looking for our players to go and fight and really bring a contest. And so that's what we're encouraging our players. Now, if there's a collision, then we're going to have to cop that. But I can tell you it won't be an intention of any of our players to take anyone's head or cause any damage. It will be them trying to compete in a game of footy where we're all asking for it. We love our game because of the contest. So there's a fine line with it. I understand what the AFL are doing. But I want our players to compete.